Well, hello everybody. Welcome to a little bit of an early morning strat session here, 1987 American League replay. We are in Milwaukee, Seattle against Milwaukee. This is the next to last game on the May 9th docket. Last game will be Toronto at Texas. That should be tonight on the channel. This is again game number 197 overall. Ballpark singles are 1 to 6 left and right. Ballpark home runs 1 to 5 left and right. Nieves is on the mound for the Brewers, and Mike Morgan is on the mound for the Mariners. Brewers enter the game 19-8. They are in virtual tie with the Yankees for first place in the East. Seattle is dead last in the West, 10-19. But appearances could be deceiving because in the previous game in the series, Seattle thumped Milwaukee and kind of flipped the script. So you can't really judge it on paper. That's why you roll the games, because the dice have things to say. Neither pitcher is going to have much effect on holds. In fact, Nieves is a 0. Morgan's only a +1. Well, actually, Morgan's a 0, but Kearney's a +1. Nieves is a 0, and so is Surhoff. So there you got the net 0 on that one. All right. Time to bring this game up on the Strat-O-Matic computer so we can get all the pertinent data that is needed to keep you informed as to how the season replay is going. Do know that Juan Nieves enters the game 3-1 on the replay. And let's see how he's doing as far as earned run average and so forth, as we get the computer fired up on the Strat side. And we'll see how he's holding out on the replays. 3-1, ERA but the bad ERA of 6.14. So he's gotten run support, obviously. 29 innings pitched, 26 hits, 15 walks, 26 strikeouts. So Juan Nieves will be finishing up the warm-up tosses. And John Moses, the center fielder, will be leading things off for the Mariners. Most of the Mariners are underperforming. Hello, Tim. Clee baseball fan. I still call him Tribe fan. Still Tribe fan to me. Most of the Mariners batters are underperforming, which is why they are 10-19, about 4 games off their normal pace, I believe, at this point. Not 100% sure, but something close to that. But just slow starts. But again, the previous game, they thumped Milwaukee, so each game is its own individual thing. All right, so Moses on the replay is hitting .204, a homer and 11 driven in. He hit .246 real world. Switch hitter will bat right-handed against the lefty Nieves, and we're underway. So 110 against the lefty. It's a ballpark single check right away. It's 1 to 6. That's a 15, so he will pop it up to first. And there's one away. And again, in case you're curious, failed ballpark checks by default by the rules say a right-handed batter should line it to short. A left-handed batter should line it to second. But that, to me, that produces way too many putouts for those two positions. So if the failed ballpark check has something different and it does not affect the base running of a game, I will revert to the original result, which is why I put that down as a pop out to first, just in case you were curious. Trying to minimize all those lineouts to second, lineouts to short. All right, here's Phil Bradley. He's also underperforming. He's hitting .202, 4 homers, 10 driven in. He hit .297 real world. That's a .210, and that's going to be a single for Phil Bradley. He might be looking to obtain a lead here. Needs 2 through 5 to get that lead. That's a 6, so he does not get it. He will be held, obviously. And here is John Christensen, the right fielder. Christensen is hitting .250, so he's pretty much right on pace. He's only had 20 at bats, though, so take that with a grain of salt. He hit .242 real world. It's 4-3, and that is a ballpark single again. 1 to 6. That is a 6. The dot's right there in the bottom right-hand corner. That is a 6, so it will be a single. Just the 1 star. So 1 base advancement on ballpark singles. But the Mariners are in business here early against Nieves. 2 on, 1 out for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. Presley on the replay again, struggling, hitting a .171. 3 homers, 12 driven in. He hit .247 real world. Eventually, you figure they're going to come out of this and start playing better baseball. 4-10, and that's a ground ball third base X. We are looking at Gantner. He's a 3-E-12. 3-20, that's a G1 possible double play. E12 is the number, and that's a 4. That's interesting. Does that create an error? E12. Nope, just 12 and 16, so it will be a double play to end the inning. 5-4-3 around the horn. And Nieves gets out of the mess. Pitcher's best friend, the old double play. And at the end of half an inning of play, it's Seattle nothing. Brewers coming to bat. Mike Morgan. All right, getting a text here, so I need to reply to that. Then we can get going here. All right, so Mike Morgan will be the pitcher for the Mariners. He's 1-3, ERA of 4.11, 35 innings pitched, 43 hits, 7 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Leading things off will be Juan Castillo. Castillo on the replay is only hitting 186, no homers, 4 runs driven in. Kind of a strange lineup. Castillo normally bats near the bottom, Swain nearly near the top, but that's kind of flip-flopped. So it's a very interesting little lineup that has been put together by Mr. Treblehorn. Not sure why he's doing it this way, but that's just the way he's got it set up. 6-8, switch hitter batting left is a single. So how about that? Castillo, leadoff single. And he's a threat to possibly steal. Needs a 3 through 6 to get the lead. Does not get it. Brings up Robin Yount. Yount on the replay hitting .318, 6 homers, 24 driven in. He hit .312 real world. 3-3, and that's a ground ball shortstop B, so it's a fielder's choice, 6-4. They will get the lead dog at second. And now Yount is your runner at first base after the fielder's choice. Yount can get the lead on a 5 or a 6. Does not get it. Brings up Glenn Braggs, right fielder, hitting .283, 3 homers, 21 driven in. He hit .269 real world. 4-11, fly ball right field X. We're looking at Christensen. He's a 3-E-6. 3-10 should definitely be good enough. 3-10. 3-10 is an F2, so no problems there. He is an E6, so we have to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And that 12 is just fine. So Christensen will make the play. 2 down. Braggs is retired. 1 right fielder flying to another. Here's Greg Brock, first baseman, cleanup hitter, hitting .337, 3 homers, 13 driven in. He hit .299 real world. .65 left-handed. That's a fly to center, and Moses puts it away, and it's a scoreless frame for Mr. Morgan. At the end of 1, we got no score from County Stadium in Milwaukee. Leading off for the Mariners will be Alvin Davis, first baseman. Davis checks in at .294. He's pretty much one of the few Mariners holding his own. 3 homers, 11 driven in. He at .295 real world, so he's right there on his number. 2-8, and that's a single to center field for Alvin Davis. He's not much of a threat to run, though, so he will not be held. And here's the designated hitter, Dave Valley, hitting .238, 1 homer, 5 driven in. He at .256 real world. 2-5, and that's a line out to third base. There's a Omega here, but there are not 2 outs and the runner is not in scoring position, so clutch does not come into play. Just a line drive to Castillo. I'm sorry, to Gantner at third. Molitor is coming back shortly, and the Brewers definitely will be glad when he does. All right, here's Kearney, the catcher. Kearney's hitting .077 in 13 at bats. No homers or runs driven in. In 47 real world at bats, he hit .170. So he's not there for his offense, that's for sure. And apparently his defense isn't very good either, so I'm not sure why he was there. Maybe out of desperation. 4-7. That's ground ball pitcher B with a dot there, but of course he's not tired, so it's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to go 1-4. And Kearney will be your new runner at second base. 2 down. Kearney, of course, not being held for Ray Quinones. Quinones on, that's a 1, so possible wild pitch on Nieves. His wild pitch rating is a 4. There is no wild pitch, so we drive on. Quinones hitting .208, no homers, 10 driven in. He hit .276 real world, so yet another Mariner underperforming. 6-5, and that is a strikeout, and his underperformance continues. First strikeout for Nieves, and that's going to do it for the Mariners. We go to the bottom of the second, no score. Morgan back out. And Cecil Cooper. And of course, it's morning baseball, so a morning strat, I should say. So morning strat would not be complete without the obligatory cup of coffee. So they just kind of go together. I always thought strat should market coffee. Have the breakfast blend be basic coffee. Have your middle blend be advanced coffee, and have your robust, really deep, dark blends to be your super advanced. I think they could have done it, but oh well, they didn't. So, all right, so 232 average for Cecil Cooper and 5 home runs, 12 driven in. He had .248 real world. 6-4, left-handed, is a base on balls. That's the first walk issued by Morgan. Cooper not going to be held, obviously. He's at the end of his career. He's not running too well. I'm surprised they gave him an 11. I thought he'd be more like a 9, but they rate him as 11, so we'll go with it. Jim Gantner hitting .325, no homers, 4 driven in. He at .272 real world. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance on Morgan, but his balk rating is a 0, so no balk to worry about. Pitch to Gantner, 5-6, left-handed. That's a split chance. 1's a single, and else he lines to second. That's a 3. So the liner goes right to Reynolds, and there's 1 away. So 1 down, and that will send up Rick Manning playing left field in place of Rob Deere. Deere is on the roster. He's just on the bench. For whatever reason, Rick Manning is playing. He's hitting .316, no homers, 2 driven in, just 19 at bats. He hit .228 real world, but again, just 19 at bats. Can't really judge that. Sample size is way too small. 6-9, and that's a pop out to first base. Alvin Davis will haul it in. Quick 2 outs after the leadoff walk, and it's going to bring up B.J. Surhoff, the catcher. Surhoff hitting .286, 1 homer, 2 driven in. He hit .299 real world. Cooper still at first, not being held. 6-9, and that's the same thing. Pop out to Alvin Davis to end the inning. So 2 innings in the books, and nothing's been decided. We got no score from Milwaukee. Hello, Jeremiah. So here's Harold Reynolds, second baseman. He is hitting .275, no homers, 5 driven in, and guess what? He hit .275 in real world, so he's right on pace. 3-2, and that's a low max to third base. It's going to be snagged by Gantner, but nobody's on base to double off. So that's one away. Hello, Mr. Bancroft. Good to see you. Now I'm trying to different times of the day and evening just to see, kind of people have different schedules. So maybe they prefer a morning, maybe they prefer an afternoon, maybe they prefer an evening. So just whenever I feel in the mood, I felt like doing it this morning when I got up. So it's like, let's play some Strat. So, all right, here's John Moses. 4-5, switch hitter batting right-handed is a ground ball to second. And Castillo will take care of that. 2 down. Hopefully get a close game. That's the only thing. I don't like these blowouts. So hopefully it'll stay a close game. Here's Bradley. 5-3, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Swain. He's a 3E25. 3 and a 4, that's problems. That is a problem. 3 and a 4 is a single, so it's going to get past him. His error rating's an E25, so he's got to avoid 4, 13, 17, and 18. And he does that, but it is going to get past him for a base hit. 2-out single for Phil Bradley. And he's going to be looking to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 5 to get that lead. That is a 5, so he does get the lead. So he's a 19, but held a 17. 0 for Nieves and Surhoff combination. So it's a 1 to 17, and he will steal it. And he does. It's a possible throwing error on Surhoff. He probably should have ate it because his T rating is an 11. And Surhoff throws it away. So it's a stolen base for Bradley and an E2 on top of it. Puts Bradley to third base. That's one that Surhoff should have just ate. But he's trying to be a hero, I guess. And now you end up getting a guy on third base. All right. Here is John Christensen. I'll tell you what Strat should have done, in my opinion. Of course, I don't run the company, so I don't know what to tell you. But instead of doing a Diamond Gems for a dead ball, if they just come up with a 1908 full season, I think they'd have been much better off. Just my opinion. It would have sold more, I believe. Because I'm like Utah Mike, I don't like the Diamond Gems because they're kind of wonky the way they're rated. So I really don't care for them. I prefer full seasons. But people do what they want. Play the game you want to play the way you want to play it, as I say. So if it works for them, it works for them. Hope they sell a lot of copies. 4-7, that's a ground ball back to Nieves, and that's going to end the inning. So the error turns out not to be costly. And we go to the bottom of the third. The last time I checked, Hal Richmond and company did not ask me my opinion. So tells you what little bit of weight, which is actually 0, that I carry with Strat-O-Matic. All right, here's Dale Swain. They're hitting 318, 6 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 252 real world. 6-8 switch hitter, and that's a single to center field for Swain. Leadoff single for Swain. Not really much of a stealer, so he's going to be held. I mean, not going to be held. He's going to be staying where he is. Will not be held. Here's Castillo. It's a 2-10, and that's going to be a fly to right field, 1 away. I'm like the replay gamer. I prefer seasons. I want to see the people in their element, not guys from competing against people 60 years ago. But that's just me. People like that what if stuff, go right ahead. Here's Robin Yount. 2-9. Ground ball shortstop A. It's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. Pitcher's best friend. And Seattle says, if you can do it to us in the first, we can do it to you in the third. And at the end of 3, we got no score. Pitchers are hanging tough. Juan Nieves back out. We'll be facing the Hound Dog, Jim Presley, to lead things off. And And let's see. It'll be Davis and Valley to follow. Like I said, it's a formula that apparently works. People, jump on it. Of course, I think Strat could put out a set of Strat's kind of like Dave Gardner. Whatever Gardner puts out is gold, because about a month or so ago, I'd never heard of bank shot basketball. Gardner puts it out, and now it's the flavor of the month. Everybody wants bank shot basketball. It's so popular, it's even sold out. So whatever he touches is gold. Same with Strat. They can put out a set of how Richmond going to the bathroom cards, and they sell out. So it's just the way it is. Can't explain it, just the way it is. Here's the Hound Dog, 310, and that's going to be a single. Lead off the inning for the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. I predict by August that whoever bought bank shot basketball will be tired of it, and they'll move on to whatever the new flavor of the month is after that. Just my prediction, because it usually works that way. 110. It's ground ball pitcher A. That's another double play. 1-6-3 double play. 2 quick outs. And both pitchers getting that pitcher's best friend to help them out. Yeah, I guess if you did the how Richmond going to the bathroom card, you'd want to get the lefty-righty splits, because you want to find out, whether the turd is going to the left of the bowl or the right of the bowl. It makes a difference. And also, if the instead of lefty-righty is really up or down, because you got to figure out whether the toilet paper roll is going underneath or over the top. So actually, it's over or under instead of left or right. That's what technically I guess should be done. Here's a 2-4, and that is a ground ball to short for Valley, and that's going to end the inning. Bottom of the fourth, no score. You're liable to get all kinds of comments from me this early in the morning, so I haven't had all my coffee yet. Who knows what will come out of this mouth? Here's Greg Barak. Actually, no, it's not Barak. It's going to be Braggs. I moved Braggs out of the way too quickly because you don't hit the double play. So it is Braggs to lead off against Mike Morgan. For 7, and that is a ground ball to second base X, and that is going to be Mr. Reynolds. How well did he watch baseball tonight? 2 and a 12. He'll get to it. The E21 is the question, and he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. 13 is that bugaboo number. He does. Okay, so he avoids it, no problem. And there's one away. And I'm tired of this thing slipping on me, so I'm going to do one thing really quickly to keep this sucker in place. I don't care if it's not aesthetically pleasing, but it's functional. And that's to keep this thing from moving. All right, one away as Braggs grounds out to Reynolds. That will bring up Brock. 1-3, and that's a pop out to first. Two down, and Cecil Cooper, the batter. 3-8, and that's a single for Cecil Cooper. 2-out single. He will not be held, obviously. And here's Jimmy Gantner. (2-4) for Gantner. It's a ballpark single, 1-6, but that's a 13, so he pops it up to second. And that's going to end the inning. So 4 scoreless innings. Abraham Lincoln, 4 scoreless innings. As we head to the 5th. Here from Milwaukee. Nieves' fatigue is a 6. Morgan's a 7. So they're still in plenty of good shape. Bob Kearney, Quinones, and Reynolds due up for Seattle. Bottom of the order. Last time Nieves dispatched them 3 in a row. We'll see what happens this time. 1-9. That's a good start for him. Pops him up to third. Gantner is there. 1 down. That'll bring up Quinones. Quinones struck out his first chance. The only strikeout so far for Nieves. Whoa, we got hopping dice, so we're going to re-roll that. My rule is all 4 dice have to stay in the tray. 2-6, left-handed, ground ball to short. Swain takes care of it, 2 down. And to do my Jeffrey Gudeman impersonation. Oh, that's good coffee. I miss his videos. I wish he'd come back. He was funny. He was entertaining in the mornings for sure. Here's Harold Reynolds. 1-7. That's a walk. So Reynolds may be looking to get a good lead. See if he can make something happen. 2 through 6 or a 9 will get him that lead. That's at 11. He can't quite get the lead, so he'll have to stay there for John Holy Moses. It's a 5-9. Switcher batting right is another walk. So all of a sudden, Nieves having a hard time with the strike zone. That is the second walk. He's walked 2, both in this consecutive batters, and now it sets up a clutch situation for Phil Bradley. And against the lefties, Phil Bradley loses a hit in column 2. In fact, he loses 3 of them, 2-6, 2-7, and 2-10. So he's definitely anti-clutch against the left-handers. It's 3-6. He draws another walk. It's going to load the bases. 3 consecutive walks have loaded the bases for John Christensen. And now the pitching coach out to talk to Nieves to find out what the hell is going on, why he can't find the strike zone. See if he can't turn things around. Bases loaded, 2 outs. That is a RJL terminology. I don't even know what it means. Maybe it's something about suicide dice or something. I have no idea. It's just what he calls it. Oh, we got a visitor. Tabby has joined me. She's down on the floor, so we'll leave her alone. But she is, oh, she's licking her chops. She must have just ate some food. Now she's in here looking up at me. We'll see if we can avoid a feline delay, though, because we got important business here. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Clutch situation for Christensen. He loses a hit again on 1-6 and 1-12 and on 2-6. So he's also anti-clutch. 3-2, and that's a Lomax plus injury. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. I was looking at 2-2. 3-2 is a fly ball to left, so it's an insult, but we won't add injury to it. It's just a fly out to left, and they leave them loaded. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still scoreless here in Milwaukee. Morgan, your batter, or your pitcher rather, and Rick Manning will lead off. Bottom third of the order for the Brew Crew. Manning pops to first his first time up. 2-5, and that is a split chance. 1-18 is a double. Leadoff double for Rick Manning. That's the first extra base hit of the game for either team. And now the Brewers a serious threat to put some runs on the board. Surhoff, your batter. Manning not being held at second. That's a 6-10, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-6, that's a 7. So fly ball left field C is not going to affect the runner, so I'm going to keep that just to give some more distribution on these outs, rather than line out to second and short all the time. So we'll keep that. If that had been a B, I would have changed. I would not have changed it because I would not have allowed a runner to move up or anything like that. So, all right. So Swain, or ground ball, fly ball A, I should say, where the runner moves up automatically. So here's Swain. Very rarely do you see fly ball A's, although Swain has one right here on 2-2. 3-12 against the right-hander is a Lomax injury, so it's going to be a double play. They're going to double off Manning on second base, so he lines it to Harold Reynolds, and he was watching baseball tonight, so he knew how to turn that double play. So that is the third double play or second double play turned by each team. And we're going to check Swain for injury as well, as we had that 312 Lomax injury check. On the Strat computer, we will line him out. And now we'll see 1 to 4. He stays in the game. 5 or higher, he's got to leave. He has to leave the game. So Dale Swain is injured, and the Brew Crew will be going to a backup. See who they got that can play shortstop on the bench. They may have to do some maneuvering here because nobody on the bench can play shortstop. So there's got to be somebody in the lineup, like Castillo can play shortstop. So what they're going to have to do is be a little creative. We can put Pashorek at third, move Castillo to short, and move Gantner to second. That's what they're going to have to do because they just don't have, there's not that many guys that can play other positions. So, as I'm looking at this, it's been years since Robin Yount played short, so he's not rated, obviously, so we're going to not deal with that. But right here at shortstop, so we're going to have Pashorek come into the game and play third base in the 6th inning. We're going to have Castillo move to third base, and Gantner moves to second. So Castillo at third is a 3E37, so we switch his to a 37 at third base. Let's see what Gantner would do. Gantner is a 2E14 at second base, so he becomes a 2 and a 14 as a second baseman. And Pashorek is now at third. And Pashorek is not a good third baseman. He's a 4E37. So he becomes a 4E37 at second base. I'm sorry, at third base. So they had to do that based on the injury. And now we go to the top of the 6th. This will be Nieves' fatigue inning. And the Hound Dog Jim Presley will lead it off. 4 double plays in the game so far. 2 by each team. Keeping the score where it is. Here is Presley. 1 for 2. 4-9, and that is a 1 for a single. And he also lines to short. So he will line it to, I'll tell you what, you bring a new person in to play a different position. You move, actually Castillo moves to short, not to third. I don't know why I put him down there as a short. I'm going to need the tape for this. This is getting too messy. I meant to put Castillo at short, not at third. So let's fix that very quickly. Castillo at short is a 4E48 at shortstop. 4E48. But fortunately for him, it was not a X check. It was just a liner to short. So when you put somebody new at a position, the ball will find you. It just happens. Can't explain it. It's just the way it is. Don't know if it's karma or what it is. But here's Alvin Davis. 1-6 against the lefty. He's going to ground it to second. And again, Gantner moved from third to second. The ball finds him. So what's left is a ground ball to third base would complete that thought by hitting the ball to new fielders. If you hit one to Pashorek at third, then we'd really be something. Oh, we got a hopping dice again. All right, one more time. 5-8, and that's a strikeout. So not going to hit the ball anywhere. Strikes out. Only the second strikeout for Nieves, but he has full endurance going into the 7th. He gave up nothing. And it's just like both offenses are still asleep on this morning game. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, still no score. Mike Morgan will be facing the new shortstop, Castillo. Of course, he's been in the game. He's 1 for 2. He just moved positions. But he is 1 for 2 on the game. 1-3 is a ground ball to first. Alvin Davis to the bag himself. 1 away. And if you wonder why I use 3G instead of 3U, I got this from Diamond Mine Baseball. That's the way they score it. I just adopted it. Because anytime I see a U, I'm thinking unearned run, and it just kind of confuses me, so I just go with 3 ground. That tells me if the ground ball went to first, he took it his bag himself. Just in case you were wondering. You probably weren't, but just in case. 3-6 is a base on balls. So Morgan will walk Yount, and that is the second walk issued by Morgan. Yount, to get the lead, needs a 5 or a 6. And he cannot get the lead. He will hold for Glenn Braggs. 3-8, and that's going to be another walk, so back-to-back walks. Going to get Morgan in trouble. He's not careful. That'll bring up Greg Brock. Brock is 0 for 2. 1-6, and he's going to fly it to right, 2 down. Now, Yount could try to get to third base with that fly ball be question mark. Yount is a 16. Right fielder is a -1 for a 15, but then you add 2 makes it a 17. So 1 to 17, he gets there. 18 or 19, he holds. 20, he's out. And he's in there at third base. So he does move up. Not that he could score on a wild pitch or something. I guess that's some benefit, but you're still going to most likely need something from Cooper to get him home. But I guess it's always nice to have somebody at third base. So 2 down for Cecil Cooper. 4-6, left-handed, struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. So they leave the runner at third. And at the end of 6, we got no score. From Mike Morgan, that was his very first strikeout. It took him 6 innings to get one, but he got one, and it couldn't have come at a better time for him. No score. We head to the 7th. What's going on here? Why are we not getting runs? Is it inept offense, or is it good pitching? Well, we're in the 7th, so that means we are opened up to potential pinch hitters if we so choose. However, the Mariners are using their backup catcher, Dave Valley, as the DH. And so I don't know if they have anybody else to catch on their roster. They do have Scott Bradley, but he's left-handed. The only right-handed guys they have on the bench are Ramos and Renteria. Everybody else is left-handed. So I think they're going to go ahead and stick with Kearney. Let him stay in there. 2-8, and he lines it to first. Snagged over there by Brock, 1 away. So 1 down for Quinones. 6-4. Switch hitter batting right is a ballpark single, 1-6. That's a 15. So we're going to keep that fly ball to left because nobody's on base to affect anything. Had there been a runner at third with less than 2 outs, I would not have done that because I would not have allowed a sacrifice fly on a failed ballpark check. But again, trying to divvy up some of these putouts so we get some better distribution. Here's Harold Reynolds. 3-8, and that's a pop out to second. So Nieves keeps full endurance again. And one of the rare games, we hit the 7th inning stretch with no score. Very, very interesting. Mike Morgan, this will be his fatigue inning coming up right here, and he'll be facing Gantner, Manning, and Surhoff to start the bottom of the 7th. But of course, it is the bottom of the 7th, and that means take me out to the ball game time. So Tabby's not looking to stretch. She's just sitting there resting, so I'm not going to bother her. Don't want to disturb a sleeping giant, as they say. So she just enjoys, at least she's back in the room now. That's a major victory after Gracie passed away. She didn't, for the longest time, she wouldn't come up here. So this is a major victory just having her here. I'm not going to try to force a cameo or anything. I'm going to let her do what she wants to do. All right, we're heading to the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. And we are ready to get back to business. Bottom of the 7th, no score. Bullpens are quiet on both sides of the house. Jim Gantner, your batter. That's a 2-6, and Gantner on 2-6 is going to pop it up to Quinones at short for out number 1. And that's going to bring up Rick Manning. Hello, Chuck. See you. Tabby is in the room, but she's quiet, and I don't want to disturb her. And she's in the room now, so I'm afraid if I try to pick her up and put her up here, she's going to freak out and then won't come back in the room anymore. So I'm going to let her do this organically and just enjoy the fact that she's in here with me. She's being quiet, just sitting here resting, listening to the dice, and listening to hear my voice for whatever reason. She seems to like that, so maybe it's calming to her. I don't know. Here's Manning, 6-6, left-handed, fly ball to center, 2 down. Of course, she's not used to anybody being home. She's used to, not having anyone here during the day, so it's a new adjustment for her as well, having me here. So here's Surhoff, 6-5, left-handed. He's going to fly to center, and full endurance from Mike Morgan. So nothing doing for the Brew Crew in the bottom of the 7th. They go very, very quietly, pop up to short and 2 flyouts to center field. Take care of that very easily. And we go to the top of the 8th. And this will be the last inning of freshness for Juan Nieves, regardless of how he does, because the rules on Strat-O-Matic say that 2 innings past his numbers as far as you're supposed to go, as far as that, as far as fatigue and whatnot. So with that in mind, we will head to the top of the 8th, and the top of the order, John Moses is your batter. And with that in mind, Milwaukee does have the bullpen loosening. And we'll check the bullpen and see who's got the best rest, or find out, first of all, if anybody's ineligible because they're tired. That could be a problem, obviously. Don't want to bring in a tired reliever if they've been overworked. So let's see who's got the most. Well, no one is showing tired on the computer. And the guy who's got the fewest outings percentage-wise is either Chris Basio or Chuck Krim. So let's see, Krim 367, Basio 524. So I think it's going to be Chuck Krim de la Krim. He would be coming on if Nieves falters, but he'll be loosening in the bullpen just in case. Chuck Krim. But right now it's Moses. 2-7 and another walk, a base on balls, leadoff walk. Boy, those leadoff walks come back to get you. That is walk number 4. He walked the bases loaded for his only 3 walks in the 5th, and this is a walk number 4 to start the 8th. And Moses will be looking to get a lead. He needs a 2 through 10 or a 12 to get the lead. 11, he's picked off. So something's going to happen. He's going to steal, he's going to get picked off, one or the other. And 11, he gets picked off. How do you like that? 11 is his pick-off or caught stealing chance. I call it a pick-off. So Moses gets picked off by Nieves after he draws the leadoff walk. What are the odds of that? 1 in 12. That's what the odds are. But there you go. And 1 in 12, I think, is about 8%. But it happened. So he gets picked off. And now here's Phil Bradley. Hello, Roger. Good to see you. Nieves, 6-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. So we are looking at the second baseman, Gantner. He's a 2E14. He switched from third to second when the injury to Swain happened. So he's a 2. 2 and a 19, that's good all day long. The E14, E14 and a 14. Interesting combination there. E14 and a 14. Nope, no errors. A 15 and a 16, but no 14. So it's a good play. Good play for Gantner. And even without the pickoff, with that 19, it would have been a double play. So unless this steal had been successful, it would have been 2 outs anyway. So here's Christensen. 6-7. Again, same result. Ground ball, second base X. We're going right back to Gantner. 2 and a 1. This time it doesn't work. It's a base hit. And that's a 15. So not only is it a base hit, it's an error. So it's a base hit, and then the second baseman, the 14 and a 15 is an error. E1. So it's a single plus an error. Single plus the E4. It's going to put Christensen in scoring position with 2 outs. Can't blame Nieves on that one. Should have been out of the inning. And now Presley is up. He's 1 for 3. Boy, how do they want to handle this? It's kind of hard to penalize Nieves for bad fielding. So they're going to let him see if he can go ahead and pitch to Presley and get out of this. 1-7, and it works. He struck him out. So the confidence to stick with Nieves works, and that'll be all for Nieves. He's going to go 8 shutout innings. Juan Nieves. And we'll close the book on Nieves and get his numbers on the score sheet. So for Nieves, he's going to go 8 innings, give up 6 hits, no runs. He walked 4, and he struck out 3. Could still win it if the Brewers can score a run this inning. He would be the winner pitcher of record. But if the Brewers come out scoreless, then he gets a no decision. Morgan has full endurance. He gave up nothing in the 7th inning. And he's going to be facing Paciorek. And this is the first at bat for Paciorek since he came in for Swain. So it'll be his first at bat of the season for Paciorek. And on the replay, Paciorek is hitting .321. I'm sorry, I still had Swain now. I didn't change him on the computer. My bad. Let's put him on the computer. Let me make sure I've got him in here where he's supposed to be. All right, now he's hitting .364 in 22 at-bats. No homers, 2 driven in. 3-9 against the right-hander is a walk. So yet another walk issued by Mike Morgan. That'll be his 4th walk. Paciorek, no threat to run. Might be a time for, I don't usually like to bunt, but I think this one kind of calls for it, given the situation. So Castillo, an A bunter, will lay down the bunt. Of course, he will be a B bunter with the corners in. No, nothing on the havoc. So we go to the bunt chart with the corners in. The bunt will go to number 1, which is the pitcher. So it's going back to Morgan. He's a B bunter, so he basically needs a 10 or less to have a good bunt. And a 10 around the number, but it's a pop-up. So I take that back. He needed a 9 or less. 10's a pop-up. He's going to pop it up, and everybody, of course, will hold. But he pops it up right to Morgan for out number 1, and getting back smartly is Paciorek. So that brings up Robin Yount. Of course, he is not bunting. 2-3 to Yount. Ground ball, third base A. It's another double play. The 3rd one turned by the Mariners in this game. And 5th for both teams combined. They're just double playing to death around here. And we got scoreless through 8 innings. How about that? So a 5-4-3 double play. The failure to get the bunt down just cost them. Fundamentals can kill you in a game like this. Let's make sure I got the computer with all the right defenders. Paciorek is at 3rd. Castillo is at short, and Gantner is at 2nd. And we need a new pitcher, and it will be Chuck Krim, the right-hander. Chuck Krim de la Krim. Or will it be Plesac? Now that now we're in the 9th inning. Actually, they're going to Plesac. So Dan Plesac, you can't get a save situation anymore. So they will go ahead and go with the best they have, which is Dan Plesac, the left-hander. So Plesac will be coming on to pitch for the Brew Crew. His hold is a -2. So let's get the numbers on Plesac. He is 1-1 with 6 saves, a 3.60 earned run average, 10 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts. He needs some work. He hasn't pitched in a while, so he definitely needs some work. No question about it. And here's Alvin Davis to lead it off. Lefty on lefty matchup. 4-6 for Plesac, and we get another walk. That seems to be the theme of this ball game, is walks and double plays. Davis, of course, will not be held. Valley's a terrible bunter, so they're not going to have him bunt. They will have him swing away against Plesac. 6-9 for Plesac is a fly to center field. So 1 away, center field C, so the runner cannot advance. And now Kearney is going to come up, but he's not going to bat, I don't believe. Don't usually like to mess with the pitcher, catcher, battery chemistry, but I think you're going to have to at this point. So they will go to the bench, will the Mariners. All their better hitters are left-handed. That's another reason why Plesac came in, to keep the left-handers on the bench, at least in theory. But they do have Domingo Ramos. He's the best they have that's right-handed. So he will pinch hit, and Scott Bradley will come into the game to catch, and Kearney will be lifted. So coming in to pinch hit is Ramos here in the 9th inning. And on the replay, Ramos is hitting .273, 1 homer and 1 run driven in, only 11 at bats. He hit .311 in real world. It's only been 11 at bats, so you can't judge it totally by that. Davis at first, not being held. That's a 1, so Plesac with a wild pitch possibility. Those numbers are not on his card in 1987, so I'll go to the computer, and his wild pitch rating is a 15. It's a 13. He will uncork the wild pitch. And that will put Alvin Davis in scoring position. Now you wonder if they might use a pinch runner for Davis. He only runs an 11. Let's see if they got anybody on the bench that's fast. Kingery's a 15. Renteria's a 14. They're going to pinch run with Rich Renteria for Alvin Davis. So Davis will be lifted, and Ken Phelps would come in and play first base in the bottom of the 9th. But they need speed. They have a need for speed. So that's what they're doing, the need for speed. All right, let's do some updating here. Ramos is going to pinch hit here in the 9th. And then Bradley will catch in the 9th. And then we get a pinch runner for Alvin Davis. Oops, right here. Pinch runner for Alvin Davis is Renteria. Pinch running in the 9th. And then Phelps will play first base in the 9th. Okay, so I got to keep all that stuff straight, especially on the computer and whatnot. So Renteria is not really a threat to run, although he does need to be held. He has the asterisk there, so they will force them. Well, not necessarily he's a second base, so they only need to hold him, but he's a 14, so that's the important part. He is a 14, so that's 3 numbers better than the 11 that was held by Alvin Davis. So that's why the move was made. So Renteria, little used Renteria during the season, but he's going to be used right here in a pinch running capacity. So after the wild pitch by Plesac, Ramos steps back in as the pinch hitter. 6-8 for Plesac is a strikeout. So he strikes out the pinch hitter, Ramos. And that's 2 away, and it's up to Ray Quinones in a clutch situation to get it done. And against lefties in the clutch, he loses a hit on 2-7. Everybody else is neutral. Nothing on the habit. Quinones, 0 for 3. He's due. Of course, they're all due the way this game's been going. 3-6, and he comes through. 1-4 is a triple, and 5-20 is a single 2 stars. He will score it. Scoring is Renteria, and the Mariners take a 1-0 lead off of Plesac. Quinones comes through in the clutch. And now that means Mike Morgan qualifies for the victory if the Mariners hold on. So Renteria scores. And here's Harold Reynolds. Quinones not going to be held. Plesac discussed it with himself. The wild pitch set up everything. 6-11. Switcher to batting right is a ground ball pitcher X. He's an E36. He is a 3 E36. 3-3. That's going to be a base hit, almost guaranteed. 3-3 for a pitcher. And that will be a single 1 star. Now the question is there going to be an error? He is an E36. So he's got a whole laundry list of numbers here to try to avoid. Doesn't look good. That's a 10, and that's one of the rare times a 10 is actually an error. So it will be a single plus an error on Plesac. And that's going to put runners at second and third with 2 outs. Let's get all that in here. Single plus the error. Second and third, 2 outs now for John Moses. And Plesac running into all sorts of issues. Going to try to get John Moses out and save face and keep it a 1-run game. 5-8 to the right-hander struck him out, and that gets him out of the inning. But the damage was done as the run scores. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. And, of course, we got a lot of defensive moves by Seattle to get cleaned up on the computer. Scott Bradley will come in to catch. That is the first line of duty, is Bradley coming in to catch. Now, let's see. Do they want to do anything with their outfielders? No, all their outfielders are pretty decent. So Phelps does need to come in and play first base. So he's going to come in and play first base for Renteria, who ran for Alvin Davis. So that leaves Kingery as the last bench player for Seattle. Was going to bring him in for defense, but the defenders of Seattle all look pretty good at this point. Now, Morgan. Do they keep with Morgan or do they go to the bullpen? They don't really have a set. Well, they got Nunez as their closer. So they're going to go in and go to Edwin Nunez. He is their quote-unquote closer, although they really didn't have one. It was more by committee. But Nunez it is. On the replay, Nunez is 0-0 with 4 saves, a 2.70 earned run average, 13 innings pitched, 12 hits, 5 walks, 15 strikeouts. So Nunez going for save number 5 on the season. Get the numbers on Morgan. He went 8 innings, gave up just 4 hits, no runs. He walked 4 rather. He walked 4. Didn't strike out very many. He just struck out Cooper 1 time, and that was it, just 1 strikeout. So Nunez will be the new pitcher. He is a -4 hold. That also is going to deter stealing. So -4 hold plus Bradley, the catcher. Bradley, the catcher, is a +2 arm, so it's a -2 total. So Nunez is in there to face scheduled hitters Braggs, Brock, and Cooper. Braggs, Brock, and Cooper. Brewers on the bench. Remaining, they have Deere, Schroeder, Robideau, and O'Brien. So Rob Deere is certainly a possibility, but we'll wait and see. Right now, they're going with Glenn Braggs. 278 hitter on the replay, 269 hitter on the season. So Glenn Braggs against Nieves. It's a 1-4, and he's going to ground it back to Nieves. 1-3 ground out. And that's one away. Here is Greg Brock. He certainly has power to hit the long ball if he can get a hold of one. Oh, I didn't need that. Nobody's on base. 3-7, and he's going to draw a base on balls. I tell you what, that's been the theme of this whole thing is base on balls. And now Brock, he only runs at an 11. Do they have anybody in the bench that runs better? Well, they've got not really. You got two catchers, Robideau and Deere. So I don't think any of them run better than what Greg Brock runs. Cooper is 1 for 3, and he is a lefty, so I guess we'll leave him in there. Thought possibly was to use Deere, but I think they're going to stick with Cooper since he's a lefty. Looks kind of juicy off Nunez's left corner or left columns. 6-2, but that's a ground ball shortstop X, and that's going to be Quinones. He's a 3E31. 3 and a 5. This could get through for a hit very easily. In fact, it probably will. 3 and a 5 is going to be, no, it's actually going to be caught. It's a G3 pound, but he was not holding the runner, so it's just going to be a ground ball. The only play is to first base. But now we're checking for an error. We will be checking for an error on, and where did this ball get hit? The shortstop, that's right. Did I read that right? For some reason I'm thinking I rolled 5-2 instead of 6-2, but I don't know for sure. So let me go on my phone here and backtrack just a hair and see if I can. I did roll 6-2. Okay, I did roll 6-2. That is confirmed. Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't misread the dice. That's all. So it was a 6-2, which is a ground ball shortstop X. All right. And we figured out that it's a base hit. Now we're checking for an error. Shortstop, Quinones is an E31. So 4, 6, 15, 16, 3, 17, and 18. So basically 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. And that's a 10, so he does not make the error, but it will be a single. I'm sorry, it will be a ground out. It was a ground ball pound. My bad. Get confused and going back on this stuff. It was a ground ball pound. It was G3 pound. So the play is to first base. Going to second is Brock. So Brock's in scoring position with 2 outs, and it's all up to Mr. Gantner, Jim Gantner. Gantner is 0 for 3, 272 hitter though, so they need a single. They don't need a home run, which is why they're not going to Deere. They need somebody that might get themselves a single. So we're thinking about just doing that and seeing if that works out. So that's what we're going to go with. Gantner, the veteran, see what he can do. In the clutch, he does lose a hit on 110, but that's the only effect in the clutch. That's a 2-6. He's going to pop it out to short, and there's your ball game. So how about that? The Mariners come in and win the first 2 games in Milwaukee. Shut them out, as a matter of fact, 1-0. Excellent pitching outing from Mike Morgan and Edwin Nunez. Nunez walked a batter but didn't give up anything else. So Nunez gets his 5th save. Morgan gets the win. He improves to 2-3. Nieves takes the loss. Actually, Plesac takes the loss. And we'll figure out what Plesac's numbers are at the end of this once we put it in the computer and go to the box score. Plesac drops to 1-2 with the loss. He went 1 inning, Gave up 2 hits and a run, walking 1, striking out 2. Final line score for the Mariners: 1 run, 8 hits, and no errors. For the Brewers, no runs, 4 hits, and 3 errors. Mariners left on 9, Brewers left on 6. Mariners win the first 2 games of this series. They improved to 11-19. Brewers dropped to 19-8. Player of the game, Mike Morgan, no question, 8 innings of shutout ball. So he is definitively the player of the game. And what does this do for the Brewers? Well, it drops them a half game behind the Yankees, because now the Brewers are 19-9. The Yankees are 20-9. So they are a half game back. Seattle 11-19. They're still 8 games back of Oakland, who won earlier. So they're still marred in deep depression. So hope you all enjoyed that morning telecast or broadcast of Strat-O-Matic. A nice, if you like pitchers duels, you came to the right place. One that I wasn't expecting it, but that's why you roll the dice. You never know what's going to happen. 1-0 to score, and it came in the 9th inning on a clutch base hit from Ray Quinones after Plesac wild pitched the lead runner to second base. That base hit brought him home, and that's all there was to it. So that's going to do it from Milwaukee. Tonight will be the final game of the May 9th section. And it will be, need to fill it all out, but it will be Texas and Toronto, Steve against Ed Correa. That will be the game tonight. It'll be game 198, and it'll be the final game of the May 9th block. We'll move on to May 10th after that. But that's what will be coming up. Hope you all enjoyed the early morning Strat-O-Matic. Like I said, I'm just trying different times just to see how things work and how people like it and how it fits in with me and all that stuff. Hello, Mr. Harden. Haven't seen you in ages. I hope Jeffrey is doing okay. I know he's doing stuff with Bella the cat and all that kind of good stuff. And had his dog there for a while. I haven't seen much on the dog lately. But nice to see you. I miss Jeffrey's early morning Strat games. But now that I'm retired, maybe I can pick him up and carry the load. I don't know, but just depends on what's going on with life and how when I feel like I can get the games in. Tabby is still good. She's over here sitting here relaxing, so I really don't want to disturb what she is doing. I don't know if I can. Well, I don't want to take this thing off of the stand because I'll have a hard time getting it back on, I'm sure. So I better leave it alone. I'll just let Tabby go there in peace and let her get her rest. I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, if you're in contact with Jeff, please tell him we miss him. We appreciate all that he has done in Strat-O-Matic and got me through a lot of my morning work days, that's for sure. Hopefully one day he will come back to doing his broadcast when he's up to it. Hopefully his mental health will be at a point where he can feel comfortable doing it again, because we certainly miss him. He certainly inspired me to do this project, that's for sure. After I saw him do his 69 project, I said, let me do this and see if I can stick it out for every game, not just play one game a day on video and sim and play everything else offline. I'm talking about playing every game out. So that's what he encouraged me to do. So again, thank you all for spending part of your Wednesday morning with me. Again, tonight it'll be Toronto and Texas, probably around 8 o'clock or so, I'm thinking. It'll be Toronto at Texas, Steve against Ed Correa. And then probably tomorrow, don't know what time tomorrow, Inside Pitch, we're back with that. It is going to be the Reds and the Cubs from Wrigley Field, 1977 style. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Have a great day, everybody.